Hey, wait, I'm just kidding. It's me. Halloween's over. Let's get back to business. Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to Friday. Somebody just said, what song was that? That was my song called Flack. You can search Flack. You can search Flack on Spotify, and you will find it. So that's the truth. Welcome to welcome to November, guys. Welcome to November. It is Friday, and we have made it to live. I appreciate everyone joining me. For those of you guys that are new here, I'm on every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, rain or shine, whatever. We've made it into November, and you are probably going to see Christmas stuff everywhere. We went into Walmart yesterday just to kind of get some water and a few things, and there's already Christmas stuff up. So anyway, before we get into things, guys, I'm here doing a podcast and Q&A. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. Please post up your questions. There are no dumb questions, no stupid questions. Even if a question's been answered or asked 1,000 times before, do not hesitate to post it up. If your question does not go through, try rewording it. Sometimes YouTube filters certain words, and sometimes if longer questions don't go through, so you simply have to shorten your question up. If you are running late and started this late or are watching it when we are not live, you can always head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM with your questions. I'm always here to help. I answer every question, no strings attached. So, how you guys doing? You guys have a good Halloween? We had a really good Halloween. We had a ton of kids come. I wasn't sure because I just moved into a new house last year and I wasn't really sure, and we just had 1 billion kids come. I had like 5 little small pieces of candy left, so we were pretty lucky, but had a really good time. Temperature was reasonably warm, a little bit of rain, etc. How did your week of training go? I've been having really good chest training lately. I will tell you, even though I'm focused on, progressive overload and strength, and I love strength, I've really been focused on more of the bodybuilding type of workouts, really progressing in that lane to the point where the last 2 weeks, the night of my chest workout, I have had near Charlie horses when showering. So it's pretty interesting. It's been a while since I felt that, even though I've been doing some ridiculous things like 10 by 10s, etc. Black Friday is coming, and everybody will start getting hammered with Black Friday emails. Usually between Black Friday and January 1st, I get absolutely slammed as far as coaching requests. It's just that time of the year. A lot of people sign up for the yearly deals on Black Friday. If you guys are interested in coaching and you want to get in before the chaos, check out my website, superlivingtoday.com. You can check out the coaching tab. I get pretty busy in November and mid-December and then in January. So if you're interested in help, please check out the coaching tab. I was voted the online coach of the year this year by Trainerize, the world's largest coaching app. I didn't even know I was in the running. I'm very proud to have that honor, and I would love to help you. I do things differently. I don't just do weekly check-ins. I do daily check-ins with my clients. I try to stay connected with them, etc. I also want to mention, because the ho gift season is coming, if you need some lifting t-shirts, check out my website, Super Living Today. Check out the apparel tab. I sell things like really awesome gym bags, just top quality, big, sturdy gym bags. I love mine. Obviously, it has the Massive Iron logo on, but, Massive Iron's a pretty neutral brand, so I'm not making a lot of money off this stuff, but every little nickel and dime helps, and I appreciate you supporting a small content creator. Also, things like logbooks and I will have physical copies of my book, Massive Omnibus, on Black Friday. I've been working on them and will continue to work on them this weekend. All right, let's get into questions. I'm sad to say, this is empty. I did not have one. This is from the other day. It's just sitting here in the graveyard. I'm with the Diet Mountain Dew today. I'm sad to say. All right, what do we got going on? Again, if you guys want that song, that is my song. It is called Flack. You can find it on Spotify. In fact, there is a Massive Iron playlist on Spotify. If you want to join the Team Massive Discord, you can come on over. We have a thread with music. If you want, you can suggest a song to go in the playlist. But I actually have a playlist, and I actually use it when I lift. And I actually lift. Rico, how's it going, Rico? Rico just sent me some boots this week. I'm not even kidding. Thank you, Rico. I appreciate that. I got a package. It was like Christmas. I'm like, what's in my mailbox? Oh, yeah. A fun question. What would be your dream physique look like using any AI platform to generate it? You know, I been using AI to generate a lot of things lately, you know, to do mild editing and, you know, that sort of thing, just some routine tasks. And we play with it a lot of Team Massive over on Discord. And, you know, it always generates these steroid monsters, not like Mr. Olympia. But if you ask it to generate something, it pretty much generates the same thing over and over and over again, the same type of physique. And it's strange because if you try to get any nuance to it, it's either like a normal fitness dude or it's like a super shredded, super peeled, super lean bodybuilder with like 20 pounds more mass than we'll ever have, right? So I don't. That would be a hard one, Rico. I would have to probably spend hours and hours just trying to get it to generate something that was reasonable. Richard, greetings. To restart training after an injury, hip tendonitis, do you recommend using high reps? Well, I wouldn't dive right into low rep work. When you come back from an injury, you want to use reasonable reps. And the key thing is you want to start with a lightweight and just slowly ramp up. You want to let the weight come to you. You don't just want to run into the gym, load up the bar, go heavy, go hard, go deep on everything. When I came back from injuries, like, you know, more dramatic injuries, like a couple years ago, I hurt my knee just walking down the steps, taking the dogs out. And it sounds silly, but it was inflamed for like 6 to 8 months. Legitimately, it hurt. I could barely do leg extensions. And when I was able to come back, it was like slowly progressing on leg extensions and then on squats, super paranoid, slow 135. It took me a year to come back from that. So every injury is going to be different. The key thing is you want to go slow and steady and let it come to you until you are completely in that lane of fire, meaning you can just rock forward and you have built up so much confidence, you know you can attack. What progression method would you recommend? This goes back to his injury. I don't know enough about your injury, but what I would recommend is just moving up slowly. You're asking something that can vary, and I mean this respectfully, that can vary exercise by exercise. I don't know what exercises bothered your hip. I don't know which ones were giving it problems. I don't know which exercises you do. If it's squats, you just want to move up slowly. Hey, did 135 go okay? Okay, let's move up to 140 or 145. Depending on where I don't know if you squat at 400 or 225, but we just have to move up slowly and use a moderate, reasonable rep range and build some confidence, right? Build some, get our footing underneath us. So I hope that helps. Richard, I highly, highly encourage you to come over and join our Discord group, Team Massive. All of you guys are welcome because we can explore more of this stuff. One of the things I want to use that platform for is helping people, right? So you guys can join. If you're not sure where to join, DM me on Instagram, email me, benthebarman@gmail.com, or simply go to the information section on one of my recent videos and there's a link. We can comb through this stuff a little bit more. We got that. And thank you, Richard. I'm wish I could be more helpful, but this is a case where we need to have more information, but in all things, just start slow, be reasonable, and get your confidence, and then slowly ramp up. Harris from Team Massive, what is going on this morning? Busy month coming up. Thinking of merging your 6-day HLM with a 2-per-day routine. If you can get in 2 workouts, it is a viable way to train. I like to do the big hitters later in the day and then early in the morning, do some lighter work that's not super taxing. But you can really split it up any way you want. Some people took this the wrong way, like 2-a-day training, thinking that I was encouraging more time in the gym. I'm not. It's pretty much the same weekly volume, just kind of split into 2 daily workouts for those of us where that makes sense. For those of you that have to drive to the gym, obviously that wouldn't make much sense. Rep range for dumbbell barrel press. 10 to 12 is a good place to start. I find like the barrel press is a very meticulous lift. Like you start with the dumbbells, palms facing one another, okay? Natural arm spacing. You want to keep your wrists over your elbows. And then you move the elbows down, okay? You kind of think about driving the elbows down. You're not arms flared, but you're right about here. Right? You're not necessarily at a bench press. It's kind of because you're going from a bench press to more neutral, you can see my elbows tend to move up a little bit naturally. So you want to drive the elbows down very deliberately until you feel like right here, that chest stretch. And then I punch straight back up. Because you're being very deliberate, getting that slight stretch and punching back up, very deliberate, the sets can feel a little bit on the prolonged side. So start with 10, maybe 12. And if you feel you can do more reps, you could go as high as 15 if you wanted to, if that felt okay for you. Does weather affect bulking or cutting? In summer, the fluid intake is higher. Not really. I mean, it's the same rules. The only issue you're going to have during the summer is you're probably going to need more salt. Not a lot of people understand this, but we're talking roughly. I'm not trying to be Mr. Science guy and pull out a specific statistic or percentage. I know it's high, but something like 80% of what we sweat out is salt. Like we have other electrolytes, obviously, but somewhere around 80% of what we sweat out is salt. So when it's hot, yes, you want to get in your electrolytes, but even more than that, you want to get in your sodium. You can even see my nasty salt ring right there. Thank you very much. You can have all the ews and gross or whatever you want, but that's life as being a big, hairy, ugly dude. So it doesn't really change anything. Some people find it harder to eat during the summer. So in some cases, it might make sense to just go into more maintenance mode during the summer for a month or so, but it's all individually based. What do you think about using calisthenics as a warm-up? Not really. I mean, we're in the gym to lift, for a specific purpose. We're going to be hard training. We're going to be focused on progressive overload. Now there's aspects, and I don't want to say you can't. Of course you can, but we have to make sure we understand the rules. Okay. What are we trying to warm up? number one, we don't want the body to be cold. So we want to kind of bring our heart rate up and bring our temperature up just a little bit, not to the point where we feel fatigued or our heart rate is racing. I find just walking around the gym, moving plates, doing warm-up exercises, walking to the machine. Like some people want to go into the gym and do 5 to 10 minutes of, steady state, low intensity cardio. I don't like to do that. If you want to do that to get your heart rate up a little bit and get the blood flowing and, get the juices going and whatever, go right ahead. I find just walking around the gym, doing stuff, getting the speaker set up, getting the weights set up, finding the equipment, moving the bench around. That's the equivalent for me. So if you're in a good position, you're not cold, you're not stiff. Really what we want to warm up next is the central nervous system. That is the key thing. We don't want to over rep during our warm-ups to the point where we feel flat-headed into our working sets. We can't just go cold into our working sets because we haven't tried to stimulate, warm up, announce to our central nervous system that something is about to happen. So during a series of warm-up sets, we slowly increase the weight and decrease the reps. So we enter our working sets, and that's a generalization, ready to rock. Some people don't understand like the volume approaches, and this is a little bit of a rabbit trail, unlike the 5, 10, 10, 20, or even like a 5x10. If you do this stuff, you will find that even like you'll find on the first set, it feels heavier, and the second set feels a little lighter, and the third set feels even a little bit more light. We're priming that central nervous system. That's a good example. I'm doing this rabbit trail because I want to express how important it is to do your warm-up sets. You can really notice this on volume work when you're doing a 5x10 or a 5, 10, 10, 20. Things will actually feel lighter on the second and third set. So get your warm-up sets in properly. And from there, you really don't need anything else. Mobility, do I want to spend 45 minutes before I lift doing the schmobility and the schmalisthenics and all this stuff? I'm not making fun of them, guys. I just, there's the bigger picture is there's literally probably foam rolling and mobility and stretching and all this stuff. Prehab, rehab, banded things for your shoulders and the dead bug and Stuart McGill. And you could literally spend an hour before you work out doing all this stuff. For me, it has to have a purpose, right? Like I've witnessed guys that come into the gym and they'll do the schmobility and the McGillity and all this kind of stuff, roly-polies. And like, I'm watching like, you ever going to work out, So we have to be careful with believing that we need all of this stuff, right? We have to be really careful with that. If you want to do mobility work and it serves a purpose, then do it. A little bit of light mobility work before squats might not be a bad thing, right? So that's kind of what I'm talking about here. And I have to put a caveat in because I don't want everybody listening suddenly running out to do all this stuff before they work out thinking it's going to be a big difference maker. It is in a case-by-case basis what you need to be able to prep yourself for a proper attack. And we don't want to overdo it. We want to do just the right amount so we can go in and nail our workouts. Does that make sense? If you want to do a little bit of calisthenics, a couple jumping jacks or whatever, explosive movements, that's fine. Just be fresh for your resistance training. That's the only thing I can stress. All right, we were talking about this on Team Massive. Let me get a drink before we dive in. Basement Bodybuilding says that strength standards don't matter. I don't agree with that. With his approach that machines are better. Nothing. I'm not putting words into his mouth because I didn't listen to the video. I have the video linked here. But what I'm going to say is that I don't know what he said. So this is independent of what he said because I don't have time. I didn't have time today to watch the video. But machines are not better for muscle building, right? Machines are not better than dumbbells and barbells. It's an incomplete look at training, okay? What is better, what is best for each of you is a quality selection of exercises. Machines are good, but we can't blanketly say, create a group called machines and say all machines are better than dumbbells and barbells. Why? Because the demands and impact and feel of every exercise are different. In the subcategory of machines, you have some machines that are freaking amazing. Okay. I got a T-bar station. It's kind of a machine. It's a barbell connected to a thing, right? Smith squats could be an amazing, really big hitters, really big impact. On the other hand, some machines don't feel good. I have a chest supported horizontal row here, and I feel like I could literally load it with 7 bazillion pounds, and it becomes tedious because of the leverage points. It just feels like I could literally put on 1 billion pounds, and the leverages of the machine aren't set up properly, and I hate the machine. I have the seated cable tricep press down. I love the machine. It allows me to overload and hit 15 rep sets and get a lot out of it. So in any category, be it machine, dumbbell, barbell, there's going to be some for you, okay, that feel amazing, and some for you that you get no value out of. There's a spectrum. No one on the internet, and I'm not saying he said this because I didn't see what he said, so I like the guy. We interact. No shade, nothing. I don't know what he said, but we're just specifically addressing this concept. Anyone that says one tool is better than the other is wrong. They don't understand the bigger picture, okay? Some machines are good and worthy of your consideration. Some dumbbell exercises are good and worthy of your consideration, and some barbell exercises are good and worthy of your consideration. What are they? We don't know until we get into the gym and follow the massive iron principle of evolving training based on needs. We get into the gym. Okay, barbell rows don't feel good for me, but man, when I do pendlay rows, very nice. Maybe you're the opposite. Pendlay rows stink, but when I do T-bars, very nice, right? So we piece together a reasonable grouping of exercises, a collection. We move beyond dumbbells, barbells, machines, and dogma and lifting camps. We don't need to create machine-only lifting camps. Machines are superior. Barbells, the cult of barbell. Barbells are superior, and anybody that doesn't do them has testicles the size of a pea, right? This is the worst part of lifting. These groups or cults or whack jobs or whack nuts or weirdos or freaks, dogmatists and nutbags and fringe, I won't even say the F word. Those types of people, there's one thing you should do with them. You go over to their box called YouTube or their box called Instagram, and you find the follow, unfollow button, and you do clicky, clicky, unfollow. Because anybody that's creating this, anybody that's causing this confusion, machines are better than barbells, and I am the word of truth, right? Or dumbbells are better than machines, and I am the word of truth. Unfollow, bye, flush the old toilet, get rid of them. They don't understand how muscle building works. There's a spectrum in each type of category. Every exercise needs to be analyzed on its own merit and value for you. Now, with that said, you sort through the exercises, dumbbells, barbells, machines, cables, whatever. You sort through them and you find a selection of exercises that are good for you. And then, as long as they allow for a good progression opportunity, a good feel, they're not injuring you, okay? And we have a reasonable variety of exercises, you have a good program. That is how it works. It's not cable versus machines. It's not machines versus dumbbells. It's not dumbbells versus barbells. Am I making sense? Are you connecting with this? I hope you are, because we have to be smarter. Even on the leg press, anyone that would say the leg press is superior to the squat is an idiot. You can quote me. Why? Am I being just a reactionary jackass on YouTube Fitness? No, hear me out. Anyone that makes a blanket statement that says the leg press is better than the squat is a functional idiot. Okay? Here is why. Harsh words, but there's a little humor in there. We can joke, okay? It's okay. It's a little bit of sarcasm, but that's okay. No one's getting hurt. But hear me out. If you were to travel the country right now, whatever your country is, and you were to try out every leg press, and you were to go from old school hardcore gym to Planet Fitness to this, that, or the other thing, and you're trying out all these gyms, you would find out that there's a wide variety of leg presses. Some feel really good for you. Some don't feel really good for you. Some kill your lower back. Some you just can't add enough weight to crush things, on and on and on. There's a spectrum of machines. There's a spectrum of leg presses. There's a spectrum of machines for back training. There are spectrums in everything. So anytime anyone gets out there and makes blanket statements about exercises, leg press is better than squats, machines are better than barbells, excuse my bad, voice acting, whatever you want to call it, they're completely missing the big picture, and it's not helping anyone. It's creating these arbitrary rules based on a foundation that is cracked, is broken. It's not reality. You can't build rules on foundations that aren't based in reality. Does that make sense? So that aside, strength standards, we get along really well. And I respect him. I respect GVS. There's not a lot of people I follow. 1 rep max strength in and of itself, can be a good guideline, okay, on a strength. Look, they do matter to a degree. It's degrees. You aren't going, like, if you are someone that focuses on, let's say your lifts are a bench press and a dumbbell bench press and dips and some chest exercise, okay? Let's say those are your 4 weekly chest exercises. We're just using this as an example. You can use any example. But let's say those are your 4 weekly chest exercises: bench, dumbbell bench, dips, and an isolation exercise, okay? Strength doesn't matter. Given the fact that these are your 4 choices, and what we just covered, the ground we just covered, these exercises feel good for you. They feel natural. You like them. They have a good progression opportunity. They're not beating up the body, et cetera, et cetera. If you remain at 135 pounds on the bench, 45 pounds on the dumbbell bench, and 3 sets of 8s on dips, you are not going to be as big as the guy that is benching 315, doing 3 sets with 100s on dumbbell bench for 10 reps, and dipping 3 sets of 10 with 45 to 90 on dips. That's the reality. Strength does matter in the lane of hard training. In the lane, we're not just randomly chasing repetitions. We want controlled, focused sets. Okay? progressive overload, you have to train harder than last time. Okay, you all heard that before, right? That means you don't you go into the gym and you crush things safely, wisely, train hard, and from that, the fruit of that is going to be progress plus one on a lift. You go in and you did 150 for 8 last time on bench press, and you just push it to the limit this time and you get 9. You go next time, you push it to the limit, maybe you get 10, and then you add weight and you're up to 100. That's the way it goes. That is a byproduct of hard training. If you have 135 on bench, or we'll use the example I just had, 150 on bench for 8, and you never go beyond that, number one, you're not training hard. Okay, because there's no progress. You're not pushing yourself to the limit. There's no tangible progress. You're using the same weight and the same reps for years and years and years and years. Why would your body respond to no change? It won't. That's what progressive overload is. It's not specifically, if you reach this strength standard, you're going to be as big as me. That's not how it works. But strength standards are indicative of many, many things. Number one, you're putting in time into the gym consistently, which is very, very important. That's one reason why strength standards can matter. Number two, they are telling me you are attacking progressive overload. Okay. So we have a lot of good things in the mix. Now, there are other things that can, other things that are required. Like you just can't move weight through space and bounce the bar off your chest during bench press and, do all these things. There has to be some reasonable degree of focus in taking care of the body. So it's a very good question, a very good discussion, and I hope that helped some. All right. How's it going? He is young and cares more about, I don't think, I appreciate the comment, but I think he does not. Okay. I think he made a video recently. I'm just trying to be fair to him. I don't want to be argumentative at all, but he made a video recently saying he was, the bodybuilding rules that he breaks, and he's not interested in visible abs. I think was one of them. So I just want to mention that as a point. What's going on, Barbell Beauty? Happy Friday, rack pull. What areas of training, excuse me, what areas of training do you believe the less is more principle can apply to? I read this question. I won't tell you this because I don't want to break your bubble. And this is just a little Friday humor, but I took the dogs out and I had to visit the throne, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm sitting on the throne and I'm reading this question. And it's a great question. I want to make a video from it. What areas of training do you believe less is more applies to? I think deadlifts, number one. I think a lot of people overwork the deadlifts and they can steal your time and they can steal your energy. And I think more is sometimes not needed. I love the deadlift. You guys know it's my favorite lift. But I think we have to find a good balance for us. I'm not telling you all to be weak noodles and drop your volume and drop this or drop that, but just resist the temptation to overwork that lift. For many of us, 2 sets a week is fine. I never really did more than 3 working sets ever. I have kind of a rule that we want to restrict our weekly deadlift reps to about 25, and that's a general rule. It's a soft rule. We're not trying to make, some dogmatic nonsense rule, but I think in general, when you have limited time per week, you're just Joe average, and I know that's not a derogatory way of saying things. You have a life and school and jobs and kids and whatever the stuff you have, right? And you can only train so many days a week. We probably need to back a little bit on the posterior movements like the squats and deadlifts and RDLs. That'll save a little bit more energy and a little bit more time and a little bit more focus on a more well-rounded picture. That's not stealing all your time and your warm-up time and your energy. So that's a good starting point. I actually want to think through this a little bit and put together a list. And I put down in my notes to come up with 5 things where less is more. I think the second thing that came to mind immediately is volume. And I'm not pushing you guys to lower volume. I have volume standards with which I build workouts here in the massive iron world. So I'm not pushing you inherently to lower volume. But the idea that you need more volume. There's over the long run, extreme amounts of volume or too much volume can have negative impacts, overuse, injuries, and a lot of junk volume. So I'll think about that. Those are the top 2 that came to mind. Barbell Beauty. Since I've been sick, we at corporate headquarters at Massive Iron LLC did not approve you to get sick. Is it better to skip workouts or jump in where you? It depends on how long you're sick. This is a question I get a lot. You miss time away from the gym. You go back to the starting point. Like, let's say you do your chest day or your upper day, and you miss some days. And do you go to the posterior squat day, or you missed a week? Do you go back to chest? It doesn't matter. Whatever you make, like, everybody is different. Some of you like to have a specific workout on a specific day of the week. That's okay. In that case, stick to that and just miss the other workouts. When you come back to a workout that you haven't done in 10 or more days, you want to drop weight about 10%, okay? If you come back to a workout and it has been more than 20 days, you want to drop weight about 20%. Does that make sense? So either way is fine. There's no right or wrong. Something's going to be something is going to be compromised to a minor degree. You're not losing muscle in the long run. You're not losing strength in the long run. So we can relax there, okay? So do what makes best for you. I like to stay in the rotation. Back in the day, I like to have a specific training day on a specific day of the week. Let me get a drink and answer Rico. What things are you most proud of in all of your years of fitness? This. I never thought I would do this for a living. I never thought I would have anything to add of value. I just came out and talked about the things I thought were reasonable. So I've just tried to create workouts over the years that were fun and things I wanted to do. Over the years, many people didn't like my workouts. Many more did. But I'm proud of, this is my life's work. For better or for worse, it is. It's my life's work. This is what I will go to the grave doing. This is every day I get up and all I think about. You guys are everything to me, right? You guys are everything to me, and I can't stress that enough. I don't care about numbers. I don't care about subscribers. I care about people, right? You guys are everything. What makes me proud at the end of the day is when I connect with someone like Rico enough where he sends me a message. Rico sent me a handwritten message. And I can't even begin to explain what that means to me, right? It is like fuel that keeps me going. This is a chaotic world and a world of noise, the fitness world, the lifting. I'm most proud of this. And I'm not an expert in everything. Sometimes I look at these guys that understand elaborate physiology, have a working understanding, uh, or these guys that have just these elaborate next level understanding of certain principles. I don't have time to invest in that because I invest my time in people. So I'm most proud of that. Outside of that, I'm very proud of the ultra running just because no one can ever take it away from me. I've never been the fastest runner, and I've never been the strongest lifter, and I've never had the best body. But and some people will criticize me for that. Some people like to use that against me. You're not the fastest runner. You're a slow ultra runner. You're not a strong, like one of the greatest power lifters. Yeah. You don't have a great body. You don't have six. I have stalkers that come by. Literally, I've had a stalker for over 4 years that likes to remind me every week that I don't have six-pack abs. And he likes to tell me that I shouldn't be teaching because I don't. I'm not even lying. This is a man in his 50s that is a firefighter in Tennessee or a paramedic. That's all I know about him. Continues to make accounts and stalk me to the degree where, I wish I could take action, but I can't find the guy. What do you do? But this isn't about me. When I say I haven't been the strongest power lifter, or I don't have six-pack abs, or I've never been the fastest ultra runner, this is really the heart of fitness, right? It hasn't been about for me to be the fastest ultra runner. It hasn't been about the step forward. I was 346 pounds and nearly dead. I couldn't walk to the mailbox without getting winded. I had type 2 diabetes so bad, every muscle in my body cramped from head to toe. And I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I lived in that world. I woke up in that world. I do not care to be the fastest ultra runner. I do not care to be the strongest power lifter. I do not care to be the most ripped fitness YouTuber. I do not care. Because what I care about is taking steps forward, challenging myself, being better than what I was yesterday, and doing things I didn't think were possible. The feeling that comes from them, I can't even begin to describe. It's a feeling I want to give to each of you. It's a feeling I want to give to each of my clients. It's what I wake up every day and want for every one of my clients. Because once you get there, you can't ever take that away. I ran 52 hours, not nonstop, because that's not how it works, for my 52nd birthday. I just made it up. Hey, I'm going to run 52 hours for my 52nd birthday. You'd run as long as you can, then you'd stop for an hour and two and eat a burger, whatever, get off your feet. That, no one can ever take that away from me. You're too slow. What's your mile time? Who gives a fuck? Right? What does it matter? You're missing the point. My body transformation from 346 to 242 ended up on Men's Health at MSNBC. Ask Men put me as one of the top 10 most inspirational people of all time in fitness. My brain can't even wrap that. Ask Men, they had an article, top 10 most inspirational people in fitness. You can search this, it's on Google. Jack LaLanne, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jillian Michaels, these people, and me. I can't even, no one can take that away from me. I didn't go out to do those things. I went out to be better than I was yesterday. And that's the point. When we go out just to be better than yesterday, we wake up in an amazing place, inspiring other people, having things like that no one can ever take away from me. I didn't go out to be the coach of the year. the online coaches. I beat out 200,000 other people on that app. I didn't even know I was in the running. They sent me an email and said, "You're in the running to be coach of the year." I'm like, they must have made a mistake around me. And then they announced it. And you know what they told me? I made over 90,000 messages to my clients last year. Now, I wake up every day and worry. I want to do more. I want to do more. I want to help my clients more. I want to message them more. I want to do more. I always want to do more. I always feel like I'm not doing enough. I always want to do more. I'm certainly not the perfect coach for everybody. And I understand that, but I'm always going to give you whatever I can. But just to frame that, 90,000 messages, and I literally do probably 100 form videos or form checks a day. And I'm proud of that because I won an award, not because I was seeking an award, but because I was serving people. And I took that seriously. And I'm super proud of that. I'm not super proud that I won an award. I'm super proud that I did the right thing to the best of my ability. And I still wake up every day wanting to do more or to be better. It's not enough. It's not enough. I want to do this until I'm 70, 75, 80, whatever time I have, because it's important to me. I take this seriously. I take your results seriously because at the end of your life, when you can look back and you realize I didn't waste it, I lost the weight, I built the strength, I climbed the mountains, it was fucking amazing. That's what I live for. That's what I want to get across to you guys. All the things I've done, the big lifts and the ultra running and all the marathons and all the things, they came from one place, just trying to take a step forward. And I'm proud of always taking a step forward, no matter where we are. You guys are in different places. Each one of you are in different places in life. All my clients over the years are in a different place, different goals, different places. What I want for each of them is to take a step forward. Just continue to take a step forward. I'm going to be with them as long as they need my help. That's important to me because it might be slower than expected. It might be faster than expected. You might find different goals along the way. Who knows? You might find an increase in confidence, increase in ability, increase in sports performance, whatever it happens to be. But I know the magic in taking a step forward and to help someone continue along that path, to be there with them, to walk the path with them, because you know where it goes. That means something to me. Big Joe B. Good morning, Joe. Client of mine. Big Sam. If you prefer body part splits but only have 3 days a week to train, how would you structure it? If you only have 3 days a week to train, generally I would say in most cases a body part split is best when you have 4 days of training. In most cases, okay? We can slice and dice things in different ways. Now, if you're not super leg obsessive, you can combine legs and shoulders on a day and then do like chest, triceps, back, biceps, traps, and then do shoulders and legs. That's one of the ways you can do things. Upper, posterior, or torso limbs works really good 3 days a week, but those are not body part splits. If I had to only train, another way you can do things is you can remove legs. Okay, you can have a chest and triceps day, you can have a back and biceps day, you can have a shoulders and traps day, and then at the end, you can add an exercise or two for legs, quads, or hamstrings. So you can kind of combine them and have full body-ish where you do some frequency with one body part. Does that make sense? A lot of different ways to slice and dice it. Big Jimmy Cooksworth, good morning. Besides doing what I can safely, any other tips for advance or advice for training through a lower back injury? When you have a lower back injury, the big thing is if you mess around with any posterior chain movement, you need to get form videos. Don't, don't tell me I have good form. I'm saying this out of love and respect. Your form could be better. And you can send me form videos for free. And I will help you. I'm not saying this specifically to Jimmy because I work with him. But I'm saying everybody. If you have a lower back injury and you're one that says, my form is good, you need to get form videos every week and you need to have somebody look at them. You know what my biggest source of frustration is on Discord, on Team Massive? 1 billion trillion people on there, and I get like 3 form videos a week. You know, you guys, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to make a video about this. And I mean this in the best possible way because it's truth. Probably at least 50% of the exercises you're doing right now, your form is not facilitating the best possible results. So one of the major reasons you're struggling to build muscle is because you need form tweaks, okay? That's one of the major reasons. On lat pull downs, you know, you're doing this, and seated cable rolls, a lot of torso sway, not a lot of back engagement. Little things we can do to get the most out of that lift. So when it comes to lower back stuff, you want to reduce the overall amount of weekly volume you do on your posterior lifts, deadlifts, squats, RDLs, etc. You get form videos on all of them and have them checked, because if you don't, you're a knucklehead. And when you do progress, you go slowly, right? You're dancing with a fire-breathing dragon, or whatever analogy or thing you want to make up. You're dancing with the devil. You need to dance at the devil's pace, so to speak. Aloha, how's it going? Time for a cold beer and your wisdom. Thank you. I appreciate that. That sounds like a perfect combination. All right, live starts now. We're about, these are all the questions before 11. We're about 54 minutes in. I'm going to take a drink and remind you guys I will be on as long as you have questions. Feel free to post up as many questions as you want. I will stay on as long as you have questions. And a reminder, all my books, Massive Omnibus, will be in hardcover by Black Friday. Coaching, if you want to work with me, it's only $89.40 after the first month for the rest of your life. Pretty reasonable cost. If I were you, I'd cut the cord on cable, cut the cord on Netflix, cut the cord on supplements, whatever you're doing. Come work with me. I'll help you with form. We'll get you on the right track. And I keep my coaching costs reasonable because I want to work with as many people as I can, and I do this full time. I will tell you, and then we'll move on. In the industry, when I tell other coaches how I coach, you would be shocked at how many of them think I'm an idiot. You charge too much, too little. That's what they say. You charge too little. You message too much. They have a right to coach the way they want to coach. I don't charge too little because I'm sitting here in a new house living the fucking dream. I'm thankful, middle class income, to be able, like, this is a dream, man. I grew up in poverty. Like, I had like 2 t-shirts and a pair of jeans and a fucking bologna and cheese sandwich, right? You know, this is like a dream. So I don't charge too little. Yeah. I would say not a lot of them want to sit here all day like me, and that's fine. I do. I like doing this, man. I want to talk lifting all day. And I communicate too much. I like to stay in tune with what my clients are doing on a daily basis. I like to stay in tune with what people on Team Massive Iron are doing on a daily basis. I get up and look forward to interacting with you guys. You guys just you aren't clients. You aren't followers. That's insulting. You are my friends. You are people I care about. You're my community. We each have communal circles, and you guys are important to me. So Macro asked what song was at the start. That is Flack, something I actually recorded initially in 1995, and it was brought up to speed a couple of years ago. The food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe. Indeed it is. Stein, how's it going, Stein? Happy Friday. Big Bad Martin, happy Friday, you filthy animals. Congrats to Michael on Member of the Month over on Team Massive Discord, and you can message me. I'll hook you up with a link. Big Michael, we have a Member of the Month every month, and Michael is a client of mine. Congratulations. Michael is very active, and I'm very thankful for that. It's always good to get to know everybody. Would it be fair to say that a spotter for bench should only need to be able to deadlift what you're benching? They don't necessarily need to be able to bench that weight themselves. No, they don't. If you miss a bench press, there's 2 degrees. Number one, you're pushing up. There's two possible scenarios. Number one, you're continuing to push up, and they just need to give you a little bit of extra pressure to lock out the rep. Number two, you get buried. Even then, you're going to be able to apply some pressure. So I would say, I've never seen anybody get stapled. Am I going to choose? Do I choose like Mr. Noodle McBean, Mr. Noodle Arm McBean when I go for a spotter in the gym? No offense to Mr. Noodle Arm McBean, but no, I do not choose him. I choose somebody that looks like I wouldn't want to fight, right? I'll look around the gym like, which one of these guys wouldn't I want to fight? And not really, but you know what I'm saying. Somebody that looks like they can row their own boat. Big Steve, how's it going? What role does anthropometry? I knew I was going to trip over that. Anthropometry, or limb torso length ratio play in proper bent over barbell row form. We're kind of getting in the weeds a little bit, okay? Because there are so many variables here, okay? I have a little bit longer arms and shorter legs. I have longer muscle bellies on my biceps, which don't really work well for pull-ups, but for some reason work really well for rows. There are limb lengths, leverages, muscle bellies, all these. There's a million different variables, not literally, but there's a substantial amount of variables. That's reasonable. So to try to reduce this to like a rule or a generalization is difficult. I don't do that, and I'm not being critical. What I do when I'm working with someone is, look, does this feel comfortable? Are we able to get in a reasonable position? Are you able to get value out of this? If not, then we need to adjust or maybe consider a different lift. With a bent over row, I'm a big fan of the pendley rower starting off the ground. Some people need to elevate the weight a little bit. I elevate the weight on a pendley row using deadlift jacks or blocks. So it's like 3 or 4 inches off the ground. You want to have your hips definitely below, on a pendley row, definitely below your shoulders. And you want to have your head and torso locked in like it's a plank. You don't want your head moving around when you're doing it. When you move your head forward during a row, it's going to transfer stress to your lower back. Those are all the things I look at. And, if it doesn't feel natural, if you just can't dial it in, switch to a dumbbell row or T-bar row or something, else. Shelly Turner, client of mine from the West Coast, Best Coast, Big Jimmy Cooksworth of Cooksworthville. I heard the Smith machine is better for size than the Smythe machine is better for strength. Any thoughts? I'd like to buy a vowel. I'd like to buy vowels. No, we already have two. No, we have some vowels here. I just find it interesting sometimes. I have many UK clients, and we have folks from all over the world on Team Massive. So I always find the difference in how English is used to be interesting. Harris, thoughts on dumbbells? Nah, hate them. Let me come through the question before I look like a reactionary doofwad. Thoughts on dumbbell squats in a shoulder rack position? No, not a fan. One of the worst things I personally feel in the gym is if I have to squat dumbbells off the ground for like RDLs or shrugs. The knees always get, they're always like yelling at me, like, what are you doing? Right. Me personally, maybe you don't experience that, but I like to have the dumbbells elevated, not picking them off the floor. In dumbbell squats, I just don't think they have value. I really, really don't in any form. Big Andy, why are so many recommending frequency to avoid junk volume? Ignorance. It's a nonsensical statement. It makes no sense. It's inherently nonsense. Weekly volume is weekly volume. Junk volume isn't tethered to frequency or split. Most people can train 3 to 4 days, some people 5, and some friends 6. Whatever days you can train, Andy. How many days a week can, okay, each of you out there, all 51 watching, answer this question. How many days a week can you train? 3, 4, 5, whatever. Whatever it is. Now, how many ever days you can train? We're going to find a number of sets per day we can do that are quality, that get us in and out of the gym. How many ever number of sets? Doesn't matter. So you have the number of days you can do a week, and you have the number of sets you can do in a workout. That gives you your weekly volume, uniquely for you, right? Doesn't matter how you slice and dice that up. It doesn't matter. Do it your preference. Full body, upper posterior, body part split. You're still going to have the same weekly volume. Junk volume comes from bad programming. Has nothing to do with split. Anybody that's telling you this is ignorant, and you should probably go over and clicky unfollow, because they really have no idea what they're talking about. Big fan. Thank you, Austin. I'm current. Hey, that's a big, juicy deadlift. Nice work. 200 since July. That's amazing. I'd like to see a deadlift video. Can I? No. Wait. I thought you were going to ask, can you continue to make rapid progress like that? I was going to say no. That's like an amazing jump. Mass, you have to add mass. Forget about the body weight. Okay? Forget about the body weight. The biggest power lifters are nearly the strongest power lifters. This is not opinion. This is very much scientific. They looked at power lifters in a specific class, and the ones that had the most muscle mass in that class were almost always, in every case, the strongest. If you want strength, you need to take mass seriously. Some people like to stay tethered to a certain scale weight. I would say don't. We're not trying to get you fat. We're not trying to get you to do fat bulks. We're not trying to get you to do anything. But if you want to add strength, you're going to need to add mass. Now, mass isn't going to inherently dramatically change your body weight. If you're at 150 and deadlifting 605, the goal of maybe getting to 160 and adding 10 pounds of muscle, if you wanted to cut down for a specific weight class, you could do that. But this is a decision anybody that does powerlifting has to make. But you do need more mass. Without it, that's the key. That's the fuel. That's the engine. Jonathan, would you go back to wrestling if you had the chance? I did a little bit of minor professional wrestling. I don't over talk about it because I was nothing important. There was a WWE feeder league between Chicago, Indiana, and Illinois, tri-state. And occasionally when they came through, they'd have one of our guys wrestle. I was a tri-state heavyweight champion. The biggest match I was ever scheduled to do was to take on King Kong Bundy. I'm not lying. I remember I was working in a factory. I was a woodworker for about a year. And I put something up saying, hey, guys, I'll be wrestling in Chicago this weekend. I'm going to be taking on King Kong Bundy. And they're all like, oh, yeah, right. Right, yeah, right. Yeah, right. For those of you guys that think I'm full of crap, I'm going to get a picture because I don't want anybody... I don't want to say things on the internet like so many of these influencers and not back it up. So just give me a second. I'll show you some saucy, snazzy pictures of the enjoyment. Let's see. Where I thought I had more than that. Let's see. That's photos. Let's go posts. Posts from you. Just give me 1 second. Be very, very patient. Posts from you. There's Moss Wrestling. There's me. There's thing. I'm looking for a second photo. I had a really good. Let me try a different search term. But the long and short of it is, I never got to wrestle King Kong Bundy. He didn't show up, I believe, because of weather. So, what ended up happening is they just threw it into a chaos match because he didn't show up. They wanted it to be entertaining. Here's the other one. Okay. They threw it into kind of a chaos match, and I took on some big dude, and he had a big tag team partner who came in and interfered. And then midget wrestlers dressed as Indians came in. Don't think I'm making this up, but here I'll show you. I'll show you a couple pictures. And we'll move on. Okay, so here's one. This is in Chicago in 1999. This is a VHS tape, taken off a VHS tape. I never ported it over to digital. I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. I wasn't really on the internet at that time. But there I am with the Tri-State Heavyweight Championship belt. I wore like a wrestling mask, and I had this big giant plastic baseball, those kids' plastic giant big wiffle ball bats, because you could really honk and bonk and conk somebody with one of those, and it looked all dramatic, but it really didn't hurt. So it was fun doing that. That's me on the mic talking smackarooski, and I'll share one more with you guys, and then we'll be done with the fun. And this is more of an action photo. You can see there's a couple guys that came in, the masked guys. I'm about to smack somebody dressed as a skeleton. The tag team partner, or the guy I was telling you about, is behind me. He's about the level I said it was a chaos match. There's guys all over the ring. It was just melee and chaos and that sort of thing. At the end, the funny part is at the end, they laid me out, and these little Indian midgets with tomahawks were just smashing me in the nuts, and the crowd was going wild. So all good times, my friend. All good times, my friends. Way back. But it was just fun, nothing serious. It wasn't anybody important. Why do you think absets? What do you think? What do you think absets with long rest periods? I work at home. I typically do one set of incline bench, then work for 60. What do you think about sets with long rest periods? Okay. Then work for 60, 30, 60 minutes, then doing. You got to kind of warm up at that point. I don't like that. If it was an exercise, going back to an exercise, yes. But in this case, you're going to be cold and your central nervous system is going to downregulate. I don't like it. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know your situation and how you can adjust, but I will say it scares me. Let's just put it that way. Big Michael, do you think it's necessary to do regular deadlift from the floor? No, I don't. If I think you can do it from a few inches off the ground, I think you can do hex bars. I think those are really good. I told people in Team Massive that, obviously, when it comes to deadlifts, they are not mandatory. And yeah, I know I'm not the leanest, meanest, so make sure to make fun of my back fat, right? But I was strictly in the bodybuilding world for a long, long time, and I didn't come to deadlifts until about 20 years or so, roughly, into my lifting career. And you can see my erectors. Don't get excited. I said erectors. They're monsters. They're the biggest part of my back. Biggest part. So, do you have to deadlift? No. Do you want big erectors? I don't know. It's up to you. Will it add mass to your traps and your back overall? Yeah. Do I have the best V taper in the world? Nah. Nah, I don't. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I look better than I do. But it is what it is, right? But you can see the erectors. So there is some value. If you're not a big fan, I would do them off the ground or do hex bar deadlifts for a couple sets and then get on with life. I'd like to maintain a weight class. There's room. I get it. And that's your goal. But you also need to balance that with, Austin was talking about deadlifting, and you need to balance that with the reality that mass is going to help you. So whatever weight class you're like to be, you could gain 5-10 pounds of mass and then just cut for your meet. I know guys that have cut 10-12 pounds the week before meet, so I think you can do that. I'm no expert on that, but I know it can be done. It can be done. It can be done. Big Wes Robinson. Steve, what are your thoughts on minimalist powerlifting programs? Not a big fan. Minimalist programs ignore a lot of the reality that we need to build a big, broad base. Mass equates to strength. We don't need to train like a bodybuilder, but minimalist programs for powerlifting, I think, especially off-season work, I think are foolish. And then when we use minimalist programs for the average Joe, it's even compounded because it's going to be even harder to gain as much mass as you want. Do you think some people need? Yeah, I think everybody needs. We all need a reasonable amount of volume per week. We arbitrarily wanting a bare bones program is the wrong thinking, and let me explain. We talked earlier about junk volume and sets and workouts per week. The question for all of us, Wes, is How many days a week do you have to work out? How many hard sets can you fit into that day? From there, we use the exercise variety that is balanced and makes sense for our goals. So there are times when we can't work out more than 45, 50 minutes, and we might only be able to work out 2 or 3 times a week. That's fair. That is a pragmatic, life-driven reason to do a more minimalist program. We can't escape seasons like that, right? So in that case, we do the best we can with what we have. But trying to do a minimalist program when you have more days to train, when you have more sets you can do, is really just selling yourself short. I hope that helps. What's your opinion on doubles and triples above 80? It depends on the exercise. Deadlifts, I don't ever want you doing above 90%. Basically above 87.5% on deadlift is just going to take more than it gives. It's a dangerous game. Some people can handle it. Most can't, and I don't like it. And I would never personally advocate it. I think there's better ways. Bench, you can pretty much do all you want. Squats, it's really going to depend on what punishment you can take. Are your hamstrings getting beat up? How's your form? Squats are very physically challenging and taxing. So you can do them. I used to work up to a single, double, triple, quad, or 5 for the day, depending on how I felt that day. Not a pure max, but a max based on how I felt that day. And then I would do back down sets to get in volume. You can definitely do it. It has to be programmed properly. And then I would strongly advocate doing back down sets to get in volume and form practice on the lifts. Ice Cold T 2.0. Team Massive. I was doing RDLs this week, and whenever I'm pushing my glutes back, because you push your glutes back on an RDL to lower the weight, there were a few tendencies where I nearly fell backwards. Got to keep it natural. Got to make sure the knees bend slightly, right? I'll share. Let me just quickly share a video. Let me make sure it is muted because we don't need copyright claims. Dumbbell. I'll show you guys. Okay. Hold on here a minute. I'm going to let the advertisement run its course so you guys don't have to be slammed with advertisements. I'm going to present, share screen. Okay. Let's just get past all the blah-de-blah, boodly-doodly-doo. Okay. Let's see what he does here. You want to drive on a deadlift, a Romanian deadlift, you drive your glutes back to load the hamstrings, and your knees can naturally bend.
Up. We're going to soft bend in the knees.
Okay. Knees bend slightly.
Push our hips straight
back.
back.
Glutes back. That's
feeling the stretch in the hamstrings.
Glutes back. You stop
and then
when
as
the
we
glutes
come
can
up,
no
we
longer
pull
move
our
back
hips
right
through,
there, and then you pop
squeeze
your
the glutes
forward.
at the top.
Okay. So let's see. This one's another good one. See how she drives your glutes back. Boom. It's not about how deep you go. It's about driving your glutes back, and that lowers the weight. She's allowing her knees to bend naturally. She's driving her glutes back, and that's loading the hamstrings. That's a perfectly executed dumbbell RDL. Could she potentially move her glutes back more? I think so. But that's a really good RDL. And let's see. That's nasty. That was nasty. Maybe she's had the red X. Really super. You see her glutes are no longer moving back. When your glutes stop moving back, like right there, she's teaching you what not to do. When your glutes are moving back, stop moving back, then you should no longer do the thing in the thing. So anyway, that's enough about the Romanian. Ice Cold T 2.0 was experimenting recently with 3 ramping sets, working up to a heavy double with 3 light sets of after on squats. feel like it's better than doing 6 sets of 4. Yeah, I would say so. Squats get very tedious on the high rep stuff for me, so I can see your point there. Absolutely. Is 9, hard sets of chest per week enough? Yeah. If that's what works for you, yeah. Anywhere between 9 and 12, 3 to 4 exercises per week based on your schedule is fine. Yeah, that's definitely within the reasonable range. However, I could ramp up to a double the first, and the next week I'll ramp up to a 5-rep set. On the top set, if we're looking for pure strength training, you can work up to a max single, double, triple, quad, or 5-rep set. When I say max, it's not a pure max effort. It's the most you want to do with that single, double, triple, quad, or 5-rep set that day. Does that make sense? And then you can do your back down sets. Big E and K. How realistic is it to aim to be 5'9.5" and 195 at 12.5? Let me get out the old calculator and we'll look at things in the real world. And we'll do a couple of calculations. Where you at? There you at. Okay, so he is 5'9.5". At 5'9.5", your lean body mass potential is going to be about 178. Okay. Basically, when you're about 5'10", whoopsie-doo, when you're about, 180, when you're at about 5'10", your lean body mass potential, people like to talk about this as limits. We're not being limiting. We're giving you realistic top level goals. The goals are the top natural bodybuilders, and your top YouTubies are about at, from Jeffrey Verdi Schofield to Basement Bodybuilding to Bald Omni Man, take your pick. They're all around this range. So 5'10", your lean body mass potential is around 178 to 180, 182, depending on your bone size and a couple other genetic things. So we're going to use roughly 180. Every inch you go above or below that, you lose about 4 to 5 pounds of potential mass and stuff, right? This number isn't just muscle. It's bones and skin and blood and stuff, right? Organs. So if you're at 180 at 5'10" and you're about 5'9.5", we would say about 178 is your lean body mass potential. Massive. Natural. He's restricting me. No, we're trying to give you reasonable guidelines. That's mass. That's about where I am, about 178. Divided by his goal of 195. In that case, 91%, 91.2% of your body would be muscle. You'd be at about 8.8% body fat. So to answer your question, if you're at 195, 178 is your lean body mass potential, give or take. Not trying to create a rule. We're trying to create a reasonable guideline. If you're at 15% body fat, let's try this again. 195 at 15% body fat, your lean body mass potential would be 165, 166. At 15%, you'd basically be about 12 pounds under your natural mass potential. Okay? 195 at 12, you would basically be 6.5. Possible? Absolutely possible and reasonable. Super reasonable, super possible. What would you personally do if someone physically attacked you in a gym? I'd fucking dismantle them. I don't want to get into what Jeff did because there are degrees. We all have to use common sense. I'm not just going to come out here like a big, bald lunatic reactionary nutbag. There's a case-by-case basis. If somebody looks like they can kill me, and they're physically strong and a PED abuser, do I want to engage with them? It depends on how angry I am in the moment. I mean, I'd like to say, I don't know. But if somebody popped me like that, I don't know how I'd react. I do not take bullies well in life. And I don't want to sit here and say I'm fearless. I'm not an idiot, but I'm not afraid of confrontation. I don't know what I'd do. It would really, I don't think anybody realistically can say what they would do and be true and honest. I've seen so many comments, I would do this and I would do that. Yeah, well, all that changes when somebody that's abusing steroids pops you in the throat twice. Somebody that those types of situations, like if it's somebody you can easily handle, I would just dismantle them and have somebody call the police. Dismantle doesn't necessarily mean fight. I'd probably just get them down to the ground, restrain them, and have somebody call the police that are harassing me. I don't know. It's a weird situation. It's weird that we even have to talk about this, right? So I've only been in one physical altercation, and I don't like to do that because this might sound insane to some of you, but when you have top 1% strength, when you're one of the strongest lifters, one of the strongest people, you can do a lot of harm just indirectly through your punching power and your strength and whatever. I don't like to be in those situations. Thanks a ton for answering my question. You bet. Always here to help. I greatly appreciate if you check my answer out on the Ask BHUG channel. If I missed it, please let me know, because I usually answer every question. So if I missed it somehow, please let me know. I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at Ask BHUD. I'll double check after we're done. Sorry about that. On which channel on Discord can I post my workout program? We have a training. If you want to log your training, there's a training section where you can log, or you can post in the Ask BHUD. Flickenberger, Luxembourg. Hey, Steve, try to line up workouts to avoid muscle overlapping. Chest day works delts, tries. So I wait 72 hours, okay? Do you consider... well, you have to consider things to a degree. You don't want to have really sore delts, front delts, or triceps headed into shoulder day. Pressing can give you a lot of front delt and tricep fatigue. So you don't want to do shoulders the next day. So absolutely, that's involved in everything I do. What would you do if someone came up to you at the gym and pushed you by the neck? Yeah. I'll tell. Well, we already answered that one, so we'll just walk on. I plan on swimming D1 or D2 in college. What kind of recovery would you recommend for my current training? Lifting sessions a week, and well, I don't know if I need to know more information, because I have a lot of clients that do martial arts, some do swimming, some do running. This is something we really need to comb through. You should be able to recover fine. I'm not sure that I would swim 7 days a week. I would probably encourage you to take 1 day off to rest, recover. Recovery, basically, when you're doing that degree of exercise, and I ran over 10 hours a week at one point, you just have to pace yourself and structure things so you feel good. If you're not recovering enough, you might need to pull back on your resistance training sessions to 3 a week, or you're swimming to 4 to 5 a week. So it's a very nuanced discussion. I would need more information. If you need more help, don't hesitate to head over to the Discord on Massive Iron. We can comb through it a little bit more. Where would you put cardio in a body part split? You can do cardio whenever you want. After your workouts, on off days, first thing in the morning, long before your workouts, as long as there's not interference or fatigue when you head into big posterior lifts. The only thing I want to be careful of is when I'm headed into a big posterior lift, if I feel, is it compromising that? I feel like I wasted 6 years of lifting, making minimal progress. I'm sorry to hear that, but very normal. I trained hard, but had poor diet and sleep. Diet is so important. I can't stress that enough. I see a lot of lifters that love to crush things, but they don't take structured bulking seriously enough. The more you can do that, the more you're going to get out of your muscle building. Big Lee. Big Steve, help. My girlfriend and kids are forcing me to do full body training 2 days off. Forcing me to do full body training 2 days off every workout, and I keep hitting +1s and everything. My girlfriend's also a foodie. I'm English. We hate food. I'm trying to unpack this, Lee. I'm trying to understand. They're forcing me to do full body training 2 days off every workout. After every workout, I don't know. I'd probably just dump her. Just a joke. Just humor. Just humor. I will say you got to be able to balance your goals. So I need to know more information. I don't understand specifically. Maybe you can reword it, just so I can understand a little bit better. Ice Cold Tea 2.0. Finally got all 3 sets of 6 on bench. Squat 295. Nice for a doble. And overhead press. Good. Looking good, man. You're in a pretty good place. Keep up that great effort and train smart and safe. You prefer chest and biceps, back and triceps? Excuse me. I've done them both over the years. The thing, you need to separate them when you do this. That's the only downside, because you don't want to do your biceps before back day. So when you do chest and biceps, back and triceps, they probably need to have a couple of days, or at least a rest day in between, if that makes sense. Specifically because you don't want your biceps fatigued headed into triceps and back work. Can incline barbell bend? Yeah, absolutely. You want to do a moderate incline. You don't need to do flat. It's absolutely a perfect swap. No issues at all. Ice Cold Tea 2.0. Do you think there is such a thing as useless exercise that nobody should do in the gym? Let's take that question and unpack it in an intelligent way. We'll try to be intelligent, even though we're meatheads, right? We're not science guys. We're just common sense guys. We're not idiots. We know how to change a tire and screw in a light bulb. You only have so many hours in the week to work out, okay? You only have so many hours in the week to work out. You want exercises that work well for you, that don't beat up your body, that keep you injury-free, and that have a reasonable progression opportunity, because without a progression opportunity, you can't build muscle. So we only have a limited amount of time and a limited number of exercises. Why would we dick around with things that are not top tier for us? You can do this occasionally, experimenting with exercises. Of course, we all do that. But We want to do the best exercises we can, ones that don't beat up our body, ones that allow for progression, etc. If they don't, and we're just trying to do random crap, then it probably is a useless exercise. So use that in that context. Big Will Watson, thank you for the videos. Helped a lot. You're welcome. Thank you. Big Ian K. Other than a deadlift, for your main hard-hitting back movement, what exercise would you choose? You want to choose, in a perfect world, a barbell row or a pendlay row, a dumbbell row or a T-bar row. Those would be my top choices. Which one you choose, I don't really care. I'd like to see you do one of those. Frank, how do you deal with trolls? I will tell you, as a moderate YouTuber, I'm not the biggest YouTuber on the planet. Obviously, I'm not pretending I am. You all know that. But just to frame it, I've done 3,000 videos. And I've also at one point been on the Tiger Fitness channel as part of my job. And I will tell you that just as a moderate sized channel, you pick up your fair share of people that don't like you. No matter what you do, they don't. I had a woman for a year hate me because of the whole fat acceptance thing, where I made an article that showed women have a higher rate of cancer and things like osteoarthritis, and people want to argue with you about healthy at every size. Anyway, she went batshit crazy. She tried calling my kids. She had harassed me every single day of the week. She would call my employer. She would send my employer emails. It's so bad they made a documentary about this woman. I'm in there incognito. I'm not even lying. This is a documentary about this woman. She wasn't just harassing me, she was harassing others. But there are people, I legitimately made a documentary about this woman. I have a troll. I wouldn't really call him a troll. He's just a fucking asshole. He is in his 50s, a firefighter, paramedic, or both, I believe in the Tennessee area. And he likes to tell me he started YouTube channels, he starts fake accounts, he harasses me on Instagram. He's not a troll. He's just whatever you want to call him. You guys can decide. But he likes to come on and say, I have no business teaching because I don't have six-pack abs. Come on, man. Take off your shirt and show the world you aren't ripped. Like, no, I'm not ripped, dude. I'm not ripped. That's not the guy I am. You kind of have things wrong here, right? So, but he has been relentless over the course of 4 or 5 years. It's to the point where enough is enough, buddy. I mean, what are we trying to do here? You really, I'm just trying to make a living and help people and contribute positively to the world. I'm not lying to people about things. I have videos of every lift I've ever done, every major lifts on this channel. Name a lift, I'll show it to you. It's on this channel. I don't hide my lifts. I have my lift. I don't hide the fact that I nearly died from type 2 diabetes and food abuse. I don't hide that I was depressed. Why would I hide these things? I mean, we live in a fake fitness world. You know, I'm not going to try to pretend I'm perfect. Hey, ding, light shines off my teeth. I'm Mr. Perfect. You guys aren't perfect. I'm not perfect. And that's what life is about. We're not perfect people. We don't have to be perfect fitness people. It bothers this guy that I was the coach of the year. It bothers this guy that asked me and labeled me as one of the top 10 most inspirational fitness people of all time. I didn't ask for this stuff. I'm certainly not faking my ultra runs. My runs are on the race timing sites if you want to see how slow I am. I just continue to block these people because they're relentless, and I ignore them. I don't engage. I have only so much time in the day, so what value engage? Hey, you're not ripped. Oh my God, you're right. I'm not ripped, dude. Right. Oh my God. Hey, you don't have six-pack abs. Shocker. I don't have six-pack abs. Okay, next question. So I don't really outside of people like that, you get random people that don't know you that come to your channel and take cheap shots. And I'm okay with that because they haven't really done their research. Hey, you're just an old guy. What do you know? Right. That's how it works. Old people don't know anything. Right. You get comments like that. It's just humor. Like, hey, you look fat and weak. You're dumb. Right. Okay. Thanks, buddy. You're probably 5'2", like some people trying to attack your height, or I've had other YouTubers call me gay because I smoked a cigar, and I actually had to make a video like, you realize you're a YouTuber and your homophobia is like, you made a video like because I like to smoke a cigar, that I'm gay. Right? Like, dude, you got some problems, man. I don't care what anybody does. That's their business. I don't have time to process, worry about other people's lives. But in that case, I made a response video with my wife in the thing, in the video, like calling somebody gay or short or whatever. What is the point? What are we trying to achieve? Can we just get along and love lifting together and do something productive? To the guy, the 50 to 55-year-old firefighter and paramedic or whatever he is in Tennessee, the only thing I'd say is, if you ever want to come on here and mock me, to my face, and expose your real name and your who you really are, you're welcome to come on. You want to sit on me and laugh, sit on here and laugh at me because I don't have six-pack abs, or try to disqualify me from teaching, you're welcome to come on this channel. We'd be happy to entertain, your mental illness, because if you're listening, you sincerely need help. Do you have a shirtless picture of the best your physique ever looked? I have some shirtless pictures that I have posted over the years. I don't know if I could find them. Everything's basically a Facebook search. So I don't know that I could find them offhand. Just give me one quick second. And that's not it. There's a funny one, and I'll see if I can find it. If not, we'll just let it go, and I'll post it on Team Massive. Oh, there's one. Posted by you. Let's see. Just give me 1 second, guys. If I can't find it, I can't find it. Posted by you. Some of you just look like a tard. I look like an idiot. Hold on, I'll show you a couple. Just 1 second. We're trying to find them, so I'm trying to be as transparent as I can. And here we go. That I'm just trying to reduce. They're on Facebook, so I'm trying to reduce all the ads and the nonsense, and not trying to have it look so weird. So, okay, we're just about done, and then we can just move on with life and stop talking about silly things. There's one in specific I was trying to find that's hilarious, but I can't find. Oh, here's another good one. All right, we found 4. There's at least 4. I think there's 5 or 6 that I posted over the years. Let's look, shall we? All right. Okay. So I'm going to remove this thing. Then we'll come back. That was basically me trying to get in. I know it's kind of a weird angle, but when you're trying to get in your lower stomach and abs and your arms are only so long, you're trying to get in everything. I have loose skin here. And because of my obesity, I have loose skin on the nipple area, underneath and under my under the side of my chest. That was probably the leanest I was ever at, and I don't hesitate to tell people I was at like 20% body fat there. So that's one of them. We'll just look at a couple more, and then we'll just move on with life. This is just a random picture I took. Sometimes, I'm going to be honest. One of the weird things that happens when you make a body transformation is that you wake up and sometimes you don't know what you are looking at in the mirror. It doesn't make sense to you, so sometimes you take pictures of things and it seems really awkward or unnatural. Like, is that really my body? And let's see. That was a weird one. This is a weird couch one. We'll just let that go. This one, I'm looking longingly, gazingly. You can see the really issue after the weight loss was I have some minor loose skin on my belly and some minor loose skin on my nipple area and underneath. It really runs from my nipple underneath my armpit. So I've never pretended to be ripped, and I've never pretended that didn't exist. So, all right, let's move on. Hey, big, hairy, ugly dude, fractured my stupid ankle. Stupid world. What advice? Sorry to hear that, man. What advice do you have to work around freak injuries? Always got to focus on what you can do. You always got to focus on what you can do. Make a list of exercises you can do, and then we just got to slice it and dice it and attack. It's going to have to be more of a specialty routine where you just attack what you can. Last year of October, I started taking bulking seriously. At that time, weighed between 175 and 180. Now I weigh between, good man, you're getting it on with the bulk. Never go so far away on the bulk that you can't reel it back in with a quick 10 to 15 pound cut. Brenda Watson. Steve, I'm 60-year-old novice, 1 year, periodizing for strength and hypertrophy. Good goals. I love to see this. Now with shoulder bursitis. Regarding the advice I just gave about an ankle injury, we need to, number one, look at what exercises we can do and make those our focus and cornerstone. I've worked with a lot of lifters that have shoulder injuries and shoulder conditions. It's very common. We need to find what pressing exercises, what shoulder exercises, what chest exercises, even what back exercises don't bother your shoulders, and we need to focus on those. So I would love to help. This is one of the things in coaching that we really try to dig into, is what can we do, focusing on what we can. I don't want you to get depressed about what you can't do. I always want you to focus on what you can do. So Brenda, if you need any more information, don't hesitate to DM me on Instagram, etc. Join Team Massive, whatever. Any of you, I'm always here to help. My strength has also increased. I now have 15-inch arms with no pump. Wonderful. So the next goal within the next year I would have for you is 16-inch arms. And I think that's very reasonable if you continue to attack the bulking and training properly. 4 days is best for me. That's what I like to do. That's my preference. Good weekly balance. Do you have any workouts using only dumbbells? I've built them over the years. I mean, the long and short of it, you have to analyze what exercises you can do. Can you do any body weight exercise? Like for chest, you can do the dumbbell bench, the incline dumbbell bench. You can do the barrel press. You can do the dumbbell fly. You can do dips. You can do push-ups. You can do supersets of those, etc. Chest is easy. Shoulders is easy. Dumbbell overheads, arm overheads, bulldozer laterals, front lateral raises, rear delt raises. Arms are pretty easy, self-explanatory. You get into sticky waters when you're doing, or deep waters, when you're doing legs and back. Back, you can do dumbbell rows. You can do dumbbell pullovers. You can do lat-focused dumbbell rows. Maybe even pull-ups. I don't know if you have a barbell or any place where you can do inverted rows. Back starts to get tough, and then you really hit the struggle bus with legs because you can do goblet squats. They're not the greatest. You can do lunges and Bulgarians, which are really, really good, and then dumbbell RDLs. So you can make it work. Big Justin Jones. Good day, big, hairy, ugly dude and Team Massive. Just listening while doing posture. Have a good workout. David, I tried pullovers for the first time. I felt everything in my abs, though. Don't try to mitigate it. Run with it, okay? That doesn't mean you weren't getting lat tension. If you're doing a pullover and you can feel it in your abs or your triceps, that's okay. It's a compound movement. It just means your abs are a little bit on the weak side, not used to the movement pattern. Stick with it. You're going to be absolutely fine. Would you say the Arnold press is bad due to pressing 2 days in a row? It's not my favorite thing to do, press 2 days in a row. I don't think it's the best approach. Let's put it that way. Thank you for answering. Glad you had your throne time. Thank you. Appreciate that. Ian, do you think that the way you simplify training into principles lessens the amount of clients you get? No. I honestly, my client base has stayed jam full at all times. I let people know occasionally that I coach, but I don't have to actively do salesy stuff. I just mentioned on here, it stays full. I attract the right type of people. The people that tend to come to me know how I coach, so I tend to attract the right kind of people for me. My average client stays on over a year. I've had clients on 8 years. I just had a couple that left after 6 years because he lost his job and they needed some time away. I don't even know that the true average length my clients stay on, but it's over a year. So I tend to attract the right kind of people. Can overhead press increase my bench press? So some people will say, nah. Okay. We want to think of it more well-rounded. Strength builds strength. You want to be strong. You want everything strong. That's our only option. You want strong overhead. You want strong triceps. You want strong biceps. You want strong back. Everything will help with everything. Does that make sense? Can a strong pendley row increase your deadlift? Some will say, no, it can't. If you can pendley row 405 pounds for 5 reps like I once did, you're going to have a strong deadlift. If you have a strong overhead press, you're probably going to have a strong bench. Strength builds strength. What do you consider as doing cardio? Well, there's different forms. Number one, you have general movement. You want to get in your average number of steps per day just for overall health. Movement is really a key with longevity. So do you need to get your heart rate elevated? No, you can just aim for 7,000, 10,000 steps a day. You're going to be in a pretty good place. Does it help a couple times a week to get your heart rate elevated a little bit, like doing interval training or something? Yeah, absolutely. Big Sam. On a cut, if you enjoy can fasting for an entire day on a rest day. Anytime you can certainly fast as a method to help expedite. Just make sure you come off your fast properly, before your next training session. So you're getting in your electrolytes, your sodium, some minimal carbs to break the fast, and then some complex carbs maybe a couple hours later. There's no downside to doing that once a week now. Let's say you catch a guy in the gym staring at you and they start pacing around to the point where you feel them invading your personal space. And sometimes he flexes right in front of me. Number one, I'm going to ignore him because I'm there for a reason. If that person gets in my space, I'm going to say, "Excuse me, kind sir, could you please not do that?" If he escalates, I'm going to go talk to the gym manager, personnel. And if they don't take action and the guy continues to escalate, I'm call the fucking police. I mean, I'm don't waste my time, dude. I mean, that's a ridiculous escalation, but ignore, report. Due to limited shoulder mobility and tightness, which has gotten worse over the years, I'm unable to get on the bar. Not unusual. And one of the big reasons why I say if I had to start all over again, I would use a safety squat bar. There's going to be a point where you can't comfortably get under the bar if you have too much mass or as you age or whatever. I have so much mass. I went through a year back around 2007 where getting under the bar caused extreme shoulder pain. People are like, "You have bad mobility." That's the generic chuckle response. No, the reality is that I had a lot of, when you have shoulder girth, it actually pushes the bar back and it makes it harder for you to get under the bar, right? When you have big biceps, it prevents you from bringing your fist in as well. There's a lot of, bulk there, that bulkiness can cause issues. I don't think it's a mobility issue. I think you need to get a safety squat bar or a buffalo bar. What other exercises other than conventional deadlifts can I do to build a thick, bulletproof Christmas tree? Well, that's really, hex bar. You could do some good mornings if you want to, but hex bar would be the next setup. Beyond that, RDLs aren't directly for the lower back, but they will certainly hit the lower back. Like another commenter, I think I wasted years of hard training. A lot of us did. Just correct it and move on. I mean, the world is yours. Don't waste time. Is it necessary to get 55-pound plates? No, I've never even seen a 55-pound plate. 45 is fine. Damn, you got nice traps. All the years of being obsessed with shruggies. The legend of Mr. MD, thank you, will do. And you have a good weekend as well. Upbeat TV Raw Hip Hop. What is your advice for lagging forearms and lagging calves? Calves can be a mystery. We've had this discussion many, many times, and I will tell you, you don't find a lot of people that aggressively train their calves. So I would train them twice a week, not with a lot of volume, 3, maybe 5, 6 sets. Progressively overload them. Pick a couple exercises that you really enjoy and start there. Forearms. If you're finding your forearms are lagging, you can do things like a Captains of Crush gripper or a wrist roller. Those are really good places to start, and you can do those 2 to 3 times a week. Big Gary, what's going on? Gary and I met once at the Arnold. Big Justin Jones. We're doing landmine RDLs. Do we position ourselves like a row, or do we face the other way? Landmine RDL, it depends on what bar attachment you're holding it with. Like if you have a straight bar, it depends. I've never done one, so it depends on what bar attachment you have and how it feels. I would say it would make sense to have your butt towards the or your chest facing the weight plates. Does that make sense? I like your video about basement bodybuilding not caring about strength. Is it possible? Thank you. Is it possible to put us on a significant amount of muscle mass? No, you can't. Muscle mass is progressive overload, and strength comes from that. You'll never, regardless of strength standards, you'll never be able to be big if you're not a lot stronger than you are now. He's clearly not weak. No, he's referenced in the past that he is familiar with my rep goal system and has used it. And in that, each set is pushed for maximum safe quality reps, and you move up in weight. So he's definitely not weak, right? You could put 250 on the Smith and do like 3 sets of 10, very mind muscle focus. That's still pretty darn strong. I mean, the average client, that works with me is trying to get their bench up from 135 to 165. All right, guys, that's it for questions. Last call. I'm going to have a spiel. Wait for a few more questions. If not, I'm going to hop off. Just a reminder, I have a new book out, Massive Omnibus. There's actually 6 books in the series, an encyclopedia of information. You will not be disappointed because it is my life's work. You can head over here, go to the search tab, search Omnibus. There's going to be over 10 books total. It is over 2,000 pages already. Lots of good information you can flip through when you have time. You want to consider coaching or have more information, head over there. Check out my apparel tab. I have a lot of good t-shirts. Just go through the pages and look for something. I make maybe $3-5 off a t-shirt, but hey, I need to eat too, right? And I have books. I have a training log. I have a gym bag. I have a lot of good stuff over there. We can do phone consultations if you don't want to do coaching. I do phone consultations, or I can build a custom workout for you. All right, guys, that is it. I'll be here next Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Please stop by. In the meantime, you guys have a good weekend. Keep killing things, and we'll see you next time.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.